Alright, so this is going to be a bit of an overview video. So let me just take it from the top. I dropped out of my PhD about a month ago, June. Wanted to pursue or am pursuing SaaS entrepreneurship to try to develop passive income. That passive income is essentially going to allow me to focus on developing a startup, bigger and bigger startups that I can hopefully IPO. And I really do need that passive income because I don't have like daddy money, funding connections. I don't even have much less than I have some ideas, but to risk it all on one chance and then have it not go well and then have all this 90,000 in student debt, have to go back to a formal job, it derails everything. So I really do need passive income, and that is going to enable me to then focus on startups more full time. And yeah, so that's sort of like an overview. SaaS entrepreneur, apps for now, eventually websites, trying to develop passive income over the next 1 to 2 years so I can then focus on startup ideas and focus more on building equity and building something bigger and not just seeking like month to month revenue or profit. But yeah, so I have like a whole 12-step plan, whatever, not actually 12 steps, but it's 3 phases. First, UX UI design, market research, customer discovery, lean methodology, all of that. Then app development, and then marketing and sales. And then it's basically like a cycle. I learn how to take an idea, develop like a prototype, and then how to develop that prototype into an actual app, and then taking that app and actually trying to sell it and make money. And then from there you get feedback, you adjust the app, so that's in the form of customer feedback, user research, user experience, whatever, and then making a new mock-up. You then implement those changes through the app or any other features that the users want. So that's technical programming, and then again you need to sort of like boost your sales funnels or advertising or whatever. So it's basically like a cycle that starts to just gets itself rolling. And the hardest part right now is just pushing that wheel to get it to roll, because I don't know a lot of these things. And right now I was focused on the first part, which is how do you take an idea, develop all of it into a mock-up that's validated. The idea is validated, it's most likely going to sell some once you put it out. And so this is how that timeline looks. It's 3 phases: UX UI design with Figma, then market research and competitive analysis, so just making sure whatever idea you do have, it's a valid one, there's a need, and then sort of wrapping it up with lean methodology, customer discovery, which is kind of already covered in user experience. It's just I guess tying the bow on the previous 2 topics or previous 2 phases and making it all, I guess, nice and pretty, and reminding you that it needs to be lean, you need to do it quickly. And yeah, so spent the first, I think, like month and a half getting through these 2 steps and really trying to get a plan down, which you can see I kind of do have. But it's a plan in action that I'm always kind of adjusting as I learn. So I got Figma down, made an Airbnb website, took a bunch of courses, learned a bunch of things, and now I kind of feel like I'm learned out. Like I've learned a lot, but more knowledge in is gonna be more knowledge. Like knowledge is gonna come in one ear, out the other. And I started to feel that way today when I started this second step of learning UI and design fundamentals. I was specifically doing this email course, and it asked me, or didn't ask me, but one of the steps is essentially find a design that you've already worked on and follow like this 6 lesson email course to improve your design skills. And It's actually like a great email course. But the thing is, I don't have any designs. I'm not like a designer. I don't have design background. I'm learning design to make apps. And I think it made me sort of realize I might be trying to learn too much and not apply enough. And I haven't even really started learning a lot. Like before, I was learning Figma, implemented it with an Airbnb website. Now it's like I'm trying to learn design, UI, UX eventually. Well, I did start learning UX with Google's certificate, but even that I stopped because it was a lot of learning and it didn't really feel like I could apply anything. And so I think the pivot I'm going to make is put this first. So I have a bunch of ideas that I want to work on. What if instead I first try to organize all these ideas? I have lots of ideas. Ideas I've had since like high school. So that's 7 years ago. Just thousands and thousands of lines of ideas that I've had. A lot of them are probably shit, but some of them might be good. So I think what I'm first going to do is go through that list of ideas that I have, organize what is more like apps and websites, because I do have some physical products that I could design. I'm an electrical engineer. I could if I wanted to. I just don't have capital. So yeah, apps and websites for now. And yeah, see what's good, narrow it down to maybe like 10 or so, and start making like some Figma mockups. Some Figma prototypes. Once I have those prototypes, then I'll have something at least that I can refine. Right? Yeah, because then I can go through the UI and graphic courses, anything I learn, like whatever course I learn. For example, I take this, let's say I learned, because in this course I did learn about like typography, color, imagery, as well as this email course that covered those 3 things. And then there's also like layout hierarchy, and other like fundamentals. So I have these designs that I made. Take this course, or take like a section of the course, go back to my designs, adjust it. Go back to the course, learn a little bit, go back to my designs, adjust it. And yeah, and that's where it really starts to become important, on trying to narrow down the resources that I am having to go through. Because if I have just every single possible resource I could think of, learning it, adjusting, to make sure that the reason that it's important to apply what I've learned is to make sure that the learning sticks. Otherwise, what's the point in just spending 10 to 20 hours taking this course if it's just going to go in and out? Yeah, so have my designs. I guess I need to develop that skill a little bit more. See which classes are actually useful, and decide when enough is enough. Because I think, because this might take like 1 or 2 months if I actually were to follow everything, and that might be a little bit too long. So let's say I take one that's super important, improve my designs enough where it's like, okay, I'm kind of satisfied with my level of knowledge. Let's move on to the next, which would be UX UI design, or design systems. I feel like I've designed, or I know enough about design systems to organize my projects, these 10 projects that I have, into in a way that if I were to bring in other designers, other people, they can very quickly understand my design system and help me add other features or whatever. And in that way, I think most of these topics should really only take like 2 weeks. This course, 2 weeks. This course, 2 weeks. I wouldn't take all of these courses. I would just find 1 or 2 max. That's most important. Take it, move on to the next phase. And in that way, I get through all of these quicker. Then I start making money. Once I start making money, then I can be a little bit more relaxed with my timeline. right now the issue is just that this seems like I'm dragging it out, and I'm also not learning it. The knowledge isn't going to stick if I just keep trying to learn. And then I'm going to prolong how long it takes for me to make money. Once I do start to make money, I can be more relaxed. Yeah, because learning a lot of this, like, it's useful if you're a UX UI designer, but I'm not necessarily that. Yeah. But does this order make sense? So have an app, adjust it, UI. That makes sense. Have these. So once these apps are slightly adjusted, try to, I guess, improve on my Figma skills using like variables, and improve on, I guess, my design skills with learning design systems. So it just makes the project more organized, because I'll have like the font styles, the color palette, other user interface, I guess, elements all coded up or variabled in Figma. I don't even know if that's the right way to say it, but essentially everything is sort of documented and easy to maintain and scale the app. That's kind of where it's starting to stretch. Like, maybe this would be more useful after marketing and sales, after phase 3, after I've already put out an app. But we'll see. I mean, if I can cut it down to a week, I suppose it wouldn't be bad to spend like a week on this. Conduct a UI case study. Here it would essentially just be reviewing my or it would even just be the projects that I'm starting to implement, so then I wouldn't really need to do this. This would essentially be just creating a checklist of UI topics that I learned, just double checking that I did cross off all of those checklists in the app prototypes that I've developed. And yeah, so everything up to here makes sense. Then UX fundamentals. So looking at the apps I made and seeing how I can improve the user experience. It almost seems a little bit backwards though. Having these apps I made, then seeing how I can improve the user experience, and then focusing on the user interface. Probably, huh? Oh, that's something I'm gonna have to think about at night. Because it theoretically, or down to the core, UX, the content, the understanding the users, empathizing with the users is what's going to be more important. But if we're trying to be quick and swift, how does that change anything? Okay, actually that's something I'm gonna have to think about. I'm gonna write it down. UX versus UI. Which to learn first? Because I've noticed that some of the apps that maybe like Mark Liu or Peter Levels work on, they're more personal problems, and that's probably like the types of apps I'm going to make at first. And because they're personal problems, you're not quite interviewing users. And if you are, you don't need like a Google UX design certificate to make a good enough version of it. So maybe I completely skip UX, but then that becomes like a slippery, well, maybe not slippery slope, but then that becomes kind of like you're skipping a very important test, a verification test, pre-market test. Wait, what's my hesitation with putting UX first? Probably that Figma UX's course is 8 modules deep and it would take a few months. And for example, it's hard to interview many users, so then it would be hard to apply the learnings. And there's lots of learnings. Yeah, I think I'll have to do like a journal session and just get down to which probably is more important to do first, UX or UI. UI for sure is something I need to learn, because if it doesn't look legitimate, if it doesn't look thought out, no one's going to want to put in like their payment details, or is going to consider it. Like if the screenshots look kind of like a poor man's job, then it just looks bad and no one's going to want to use it. So UI is for sure important. Where it becomes difficult to answer is, how does UX compare to that? I think, and see, this is where I think so how do I explain what I just thought? UI is what is going to get my foot in the door, but UX is what's going to get people coming back. And so in that way, that's why I almost think to skip UX this first time around until I start getting some sales and I can relax just a little bit. Let's say I make like $300 or $400 a month in these next 6 months. Then I'll feel a little bit more relaxed, where I can come back, study a little bit more of the UX fundamentals, adjust the app, and then that's going to improve the user experience. That's going to bring in more money. So that's kind of like my thinking behind that. This is difficult. Yeah, but it's just one step. So I can always like spend an hour a day. I don't have to like completely just be focused on one step at a time. Yeah, so this is going to be moved up. I'm going to focus on this first. And then learn UI, probably, design systems. Readjust whatever apps I have. And yeah, these two I'm unsure about where they'll fit this first time around, because like I mentioned earlier, it is a cycle. You have an idea, you develop it, sell it, user feedback comes in, customer reviews, maybe they want more features, so all of that requires updates to the Figma prototype and user experience, whatever. And then you update the app, and then you improve your sales. And so maybe I come to these topics on the second go around. And let's see. Yeah, so once I have all these apps, then maybe take like these courses I'm hesitant to take more courses and just, I don't know, use like a lean book that I have, put it out there, come around to courses once I start making a little bit more money. Oh, why is life so difficult? I had this all planned out, and now it's just all going to shit. Alright, I'm looking at my books. Yeah, that's what my mind is telling me. So, make a list of ideas. Or look at my programs, my problems, come up with a list of ideas. Improve the user interface enough where it looks semi-professional, and you can start getting, I guess, some views or some. Or if I made an ad on Facebook or on Instagram or Reddit, people would look at it and be like, okay, this is not a complete noob doing this. It looks kind of legitimate. Let me test it out. So that's going to be UI. Design systems, it's only a week. We can just throw that in. Why not? And this is just going to refine what I do have in the course of learning UI. Yeah, so it's just refining what I have. That's fine. And this one I'm not even sure about anymore. Or maybe I should do like, that's a more understandable. Where did I write it? Second cycle. And this might actually be important if I am skipping a lot of the user experience books. Going over like the lean startup, 7-day startup, the art of the start, $1 Million Weekend Startup Owner's Manual. All those books are going to become a little bit more important. Yeah, I suppose. Right? Yeah, I think, yeah. We'll see, but it is a lot of books, so I'll have to like narrow it down to one or two. Yeah, so we'll see. And since that's going to be the new route, let's see how this is going to go. So maybe I spend like 1 week here. It shouldn't take too long. I want to be quick. Once I have that, I can start going here. This, let's say it takes let's write this down actually. 1 week. Two to 3 weeks, suppose. Yeah, a month. A month isn't bad. 1 week. Conduct a. So this is just wrapping up what I do have. Let's say it's like 1 week. 1 to 2. It could be 2 weeks because I do have resources. I guess I'm gonna have to go through. Bunch of links. Oh, my eyes twitching. And so at that point I'll have apps that look like they're ready to be programmed. And yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. I'll have apps that kind of look like they're ready to be programmed. Maybe I adjust it slightly. Start reading these books. Once I start reading the books, I can start learning. I'm going to mark up my pages for now. Start relearning, let's say. So I'm going to be reading the books like maybe like 2 to 3 hours a day, learning iOS app development 4 hours a day. Once I learn iOS, it's going to take me like, let's say like 3 weeks. I can start making some of the apps I have in mind. No. I can start testing, validating the ideas I have. Start testing, validating the ideas, come up with a ranking of the apps I have, program them in order. Oh man, this is going quickly. Because then after 3 weeks, I'll have apps. I'm gonna post. No, not after 3 weeks. 3 weeks is how long it takes for me to relearn. It'll probably be like after a month. A month is even too long. I could probably do it in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, or let's say 3 weeks after I learn iOS apps. We're talking about like September, November at this point. I'll have apps on the App Store. Yeah. So at that point, all of the, let's see. Let's make this a little bit more detailed. So decide from, and then here we're going to have the startup. We're going to have business. I don't even know about this one. At least this first one. This first cycle. Value proposition. These are a little bit more heavy books for like startups. I have no clue about this book. The 7-Day Startup. This one seems more important. And actually, since we are going to be speeding through stuff, maybe the mom test, or wait, yeah, or this is the sign for or lean UX, or UX for lean startups. Or talking to humans. So those are all like UX centered books. Maybe. We might not even need them because the Startup Owner's Manual, I think, talks about customer discovery a little bit. 7-Day Startup. I don't know about the art of the start. That might be useful though. VE. And acceleration. This one's for legal. Because I will be making money, so I'm going to have to think about that a little bit more. Life fact, since I can't afford a lawyer at the moment. And yeah, so that's it. So I'm not sure. Let's see. This one I'll put like a question mark. Life hack is pretty good. I think I'll read that one regardless of what other ones I choose. I'm not sure what this one's about. These I think I'll only look at. I should write down these thoughts. Only if book I choose does not about customer discovery. Yeah, so I'll leave actually these. Life hack, read for sure. And so I guess it just comes down to these three. Wait, oh no. So, okay, so let me make this clear. I guess startup info. Wait, Ivor. There, I skipped that one. Decide from, and then other, so legal acceleration, which is legal, that one, and then so first the order of sequence is going to be which of these to include, then make my decision from these books, and then this book, which is more legal stuff. Yeah, so I think I broke it down now. And then from there, going to learn iOS app development, 3 weeks, or iOS app development 3 weeks. My ideas based on lean methodology phase. Wait. Okay. Actually, I need to have this from the start. Complete timeline. So, Figma, which was done. List of ideas. Prototype. Ideas in Figma. Top 10 ideas in Figma. UI learning and application, and UI wrap up, case study, which is more like app refinement, just anything I might have missed, wrapping up my learnings. And after UI, I said one week, just because it's 1 week, which is fine with me. Prototype 10 ideas. I said this is 1 week. What did I say, 2 to 3 weeks? 2 to 3 weeks. I said this would be 2 weeks, right? Design. Oh, 1 to 2 weeks, yep. Design system, 1 week. Rank my ideas. Let's see. No. So it was lean methodology. Start reading books. So that's going to be this, I'm not sure actually. And part of that's going to be ranking my ideas. Rank my ideas. Probably 3 weeks. Actually, since it's going to be in parallel to this. In parallel with iOS app dev learning. And put ooh, and then I am going to have to get into marketing and sales rather quickly. So we're looking at worst case 4, 6, 7, 10, 13, 16 weeks, which is like 4 months from now. August, September, October, November. Oh wow. And again, I'm gonna have to be quick with this. So, I'm not sure how many weeks. And then from there, let's include everything that I was concerned about leaving out the first time. Just making sure. Design processes, market research and competitive analysis. And then I know I'm gonna have to like iOS, maybe Android development. If one of my apps hit, or if it doesn't hit, maybe it needs more, or it has to hit for me to consider Android. If enough people are like, that's a cool app, where's the Android version? But I feel like at that point it might be too late to learn Android, so I'll need to think about that. Yeah, I need to be smart about when I learn this one. And UX fundamentals, design processes, market research, competitive analysis, Android. Marketing and sales. Just making sure to get through a little bit more of my books. I'm sure there's lots of other resources. And then at some point, web development, and at some point, blockchain. I want to consider blockchain. AI, or maybe like VR, AR. Yeah, but at that point, probably be when I'm looking to actually start up. Right? Unless there's a way to make money quickly on a blockchain. It might be possible, actually. AR, VR would be the one that I think takes more development. Yeah, so maybe just limit it. Or I'll leave it there, but just consider it. Yeah, I think that's a solid timeline. Alright, so now I gotta make my list of ideas. My goal is by July 17th. And list of ideas. No. List of ideas and prototyped. So how do I say this? Ideas. List of ideas. Prototype it. There we go. That's what we're looking at. So in 1 week, '17th, have my list of ideas organized, prototyped. Whoa, wait, prototyped? 10 ideas? Maybe like 5 or 3, because prototyping them is kind of an insane goal. 5 ideas. That's an idea in a day. An idea a day. Might be possible. We'll see. Alright, see y'all.